Guys, top of the morning to you lads. To be sure, Sunday morning. Yeah, it's still morning. Not quite noon, so it's morning. Meandering waffle is what's on the menu for today. I will try my best to keep it hobby oriented. I don't think I'll have a problem there because there's a lot going on the bench as usual. Multiple builds going. Doesn't bother me, so shouldn't bother you. Did find a problem with one kit, so I thought I would share that with you. I also was lucky enough to troubleshoot and fix a problem with an airbrush, so I thought I would share that with you. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and start there. There's one other modeler that bought this airbrush that I'm aware of. I had found it on sale and done a video, kind of a shout out that it was on sale. And I can't remember who you are right now, I apologize. You may not be having a problem with your airbrush. You might be. I did. And I will say, as far as the different colored gloves, you may notice that when you're pilfering them from your doctor's office by the handful, you're not necessarily concerned with what color you're grabbing. I will put in a request to my doctor's office, maybe to get a more fashionable color, white, perhaps black. Those are always cool. But until I can get him to bring in those pretty colors, I'm going to be stuck with whatever's hanging on the wall. Okay. The Sotar 2020, I believe, is a product of Badger. I do believe. Used it several times for detail work. And it will get pretty fine, just like most airbrushes nowadays will do. Experienced airbrush artists could probably work miracles with a cheapo brush. The problem I was having was pulling back for paint, getting air into the color cup, bubbling back in, which is a great way to mix your paint if you put your finger over the nozzle. Of course, you're going to pull the needle back to do that, otherwise it'll stick you in the finger, and you probably won't do that often. So, took the airbrush apart, got my geek goggles on. Now mind you, this is while I'm wearing my reading glasses, and flipping down, I guess it's got like a jeweler's loop attachment to it to magnify even more. And you're talking almost getting down to the molecular structure. And saw no damage to the nozzle at all. No signs of flanging, no cracks. The needle looked good. It came with more than one needle, so I swapped out the needle. Still getting air. No matter how thick or thin. I mean, even if I was just running straight Windex through it or water, I was getting bubbles into the cup. So took it apart on 2 different occasions to really give it a thorough cleaning. Believing that I hadn't damaged it, I hadn't hit something, I hadn't dropped it. And then the second time I was taking it apart, came across this part, and all of a sudden it kind of came back as a bad memory that an airbrush I had years ago, Badger 150, had a similar, I had lost this particular part, which I believe they call a bushing. It's not pliable, flexible much. It's a pretty stiff piece of plastic. So, thinking that seemed odd, as like I said, they call it a bushing, but it's in an area that looked like it would also act as a seal. So, I took that off from this side of the nozzle assembly where you see the black O-ring, and replaced it with this black O-ring, which is just an O-ring from one of the cheaper airbrushes I have. You can get them at the hardware store, probably a dozen for $1. Put that on there, tightened it back down, and lo and behold, we have a seal. No more air bubbles in the color cup. So if you run into that problem with your airbrush, and it happens to have a white bushing, I don't know. I think Badger is one of the only companies to use these. I only own a few different airbrushes, so I can't say that for sure. But the few airbrushes I do own, including Iwata, I don't recall seeing a bushing like this anywhere in the airbrush. So I don't know. Apparently, so Badger, they work for them. I'm not talking bad about Badger. I'm just saying I found a quick fix for a Badger issue that I was having. I hope you never have an issue with your airbrush. Good luck with that. Next up was a problem with a kit that I'm building. It was a kit I was jonesing to start, and I don't think that the excuse to start it was going to come along anytime soon. Hi, fellas. And it is the Kinetic E2C Hawkeye in 148. So it's a decent sized aircraft. The kit's not overly detailed. It's not. It doesn't have a ridiculously high parts count just for the sake of adding parts. It does have nice detail as far as rivet and recess panel lines. There's part over here. So you can see some of the rivet detail across the top of that. Fairly thick plastic. It makes me think of a couple of the Star Wars models that I've done there. It's got the same type of fairly thick and stout styrene. So no doubt I'm guessing an older kit. But just taking my time going over all the seams with a little bit of putty, whether I think it really needs it or not, just in the hopes that that seam lines will not be seen at all, I'm hoping. Now this is the kit that has the problem. I don't know how big of a problem you'll think it is. I didn't think it was all that huge of an issue, but thought since I found it I might share it with you. And it just so happens to be here on the very first step. I think I can see it okay as I yap about it here. This box right here in the center of the diagram, which has a line with an arrow pointing where it goes, it does not have a part number for that piece, which looks like it could be possible throttle control, maybe where flap control would be as well. Just basically a center console, because that is where it mounts. It mounts in the center of the console at their feet. So there is no part number. I've been through the sprues, I don't know, probably 5 times, because on the 4th time I thought, you know what, I'm going to not feel better until I look at least one more time. Now after 5 tries to find it, even on the clear sprue, no. I've decided that if I find it as the last piece in the box at the end of the build, that it's just going to be okay that it's not part of the model. It's just going to be okay. And I thought, you know, it's a little box. I could probably scratch build something, slap it in there. The windows on the cockpit are not that giant, so I doubt you're going to see gobs of detail in there anyway. So I can't tell you if the decal sheet comes with any type of gauge cluster, because another problem with this kit, it appeared to be factory sealed when I got it. There was no decal sheet in this kit at all, which, yeah, you'd think paying that much for a kit, but then again, I'm hoping to make it a nice enough kit that to spend the $15 on a set of decals that I know will be a quality thin decal. And considering, at least by the looks of the age of this kit, they probably would have been as thick as bumper stickers. So I'm guessing I'm probably not going to miss them all that much. I did do some quick seat belts in there, and once again, I don't think you're going to see a ton of detail in there. Perfect timing, huh? Never fails. I did notice in my excitement to start this kit that I got this firewall or cabin door wall backwards. You can see the ejector pin marks on there. Well, this side is clean. Had I just flipped it around, you wouldn't have seen that. It does include an open section here to show off what I'm guessing is some avionics that would be inside the aircraft. Still undecided on photo etch. They do have a nice photo etch seat for this, which includes a step that can be bent up for the inside of this door, which looks a little nicer than the plastic piece that comes with the kit. So we'll see. Plenty of time to decide. I'm in no rush with this kit. Today was obviously sand on putty day. Something tells me there's going to be more and more of that coming, just because I want to give it at least one more coat to make sure before the primer gets laid down that I won't have to go back and do more surgery. Just looking at the placement there. Anyhow, so got one of the, I don't know, would you still call it the nacelle, or is that basically when it's an outboard type situation? I guess you could consider this an outboard, couldn't you? Maybe you could. Quite a few pieces actually to put this assembly here together, which is interesting since there's several that get sandwiched between. That's always fun. That is always fun when there are things to be sandwiched together. A fuselage which has, you know, several different connections. We all know how fun those can be. And there are still a front cowling to be done, the prop, and then a panel on each side. And of course all of the landing gear. It does come with weighted wheels. They are styrene wheels and tires, but yep. I thought of this kit just because of the sheer size of it, the detail that it has when the wings are folded up. And you just don't see this kit being done every day. So that's why that one got started. The next one that got started is the Dragon M55 quad trailer. I think this kit, I got it on sale, but this kit retails for something like $28. you can spend your $28 a little more wisely, unless, of course, this is the kit that you need to have. Well, then you're going to pay up. I would have been disappointed to pay $27 for this kit, but it is coming along. It's got a nice dragon detail to it, lots of little parts. We're in the chipping phase right now. You have some of the decals placed on the ammo cans here, and done some of the brass paint work down where the belt ammo is, which will hopefully stand out a little bit better when the wash is applied down in there. Here's actually one of the gun assemblies coming together. Fun little kit. I don't want to go into too much detail because it's actually, I'm hoping to make it more of a photograph build / review to be put on ISM, because I'm really starting to reference and use the review section. There's another that I can't remember. Is it Review Madness? I know if you Google aircraft reviews, I think it is Aircraft Madness that comes up. That's also a useful site. They have, I believe, just over 4,000 aircraft model reviews. So chances are, if you're looking for a review of a kit, it's a good place to go check it out. And in most cases, it'll list the manufacturer, it will list the price, and it will list the aftermarket goodies that were used, if any. Maybe you'll find that useful. Maybe not. Maybe you know of a better one. If so, please comment. Throw the dog a bone now and then. Next up on the bench, been tinkering with in the background, is this, I believe the kit's a Nitto. Is that how it's pronounced? Nitto. Got this from another builder, kind of in a unexpected kit swap. Sent a kit out and they just couldn't leave it out at that, so in their words, they invoked the right to, you scratch my back, I scratch your back, and they sent me this in return. So, and I definitely think that I got the better end of the deal on it, because this kit, it's a pretty neat little model. The fit is very nice. I have to do some, well, the painting isn't even done. Definitely quite a bit of paint work left to be done, but some of the hoses need touching up. All of these springs and brass wires that you use to shape them are all included in the kit, which is kind of fun to get a chance to work with goodies like that, to learn how they could be used on this kit. But you can pick up these wave springs. I think Norm LaJoy, I know I'm not pronouncing that right. Jeez, forgive me, Norm. Pointed out you can get these wave springs really cheap at Hobby Link Japan, and ordered a bunch of them, as a matter of fact, to be used in that pod racer that I built and other projects. Do be aware that this is in Japan, and you may find, like I did, that when you order overseas like that, that your bank will automatically make your card no good. So be prepared after ordering this to call your bank and say, yes, I did order something from Japan, make my damn card work again. Yes, decided hatch closed. I'm going to do quite a bit of battle damage on it. I'm going to shake the camera around for a second, guys. I have just built another paint rack here. During construction, and during the construction, and during the fact that this bench still looks as if a hand grenade has gone off on a daily basis. I am missing this shield that would cover, I guess, what would be the right hip joint. It can be seen on this side because I didn't lose this side. If this side made it to the ground where there's no longer carpet, you would think, easy find. It's going to be right there on the hardwood floor, or laminate floor in this case. This is not so, because with a puppy that is like 13 weeks old, it might be found in a brown lump out in the backyard. A steaming lump. It might be, the part might be found there. Its shape will probably look a little different, possibly chewed around the edges. So, gonna bend up some styrene and maybe let the dog chew on it a little bit. Just not let the part make the full digestive tract, but chew on it a little to show some battle damage. Then I'll glue it to it, give it some soot markings to look maybe like laser damage, and we'll be good to go. That's what I'm thinking there. Because as much as I want that part, yeah, I'm not going to go full-blown Labrador retriever out in the backyard like they did on Cheech and Chong. It might be worth doing that when you're looking for your stash, and I'm not talking about model stash, but when you're looking for a piece of a model kit, playing with poo-poo, that's a no-no. You don't do that. If you do, you got a serious styrene addiction. I mean, serious. Okay. If that's not enough builds going for you, brothers. And I'm going to try to participate in each and every single build on the ISM calendar for the year 2015. I want to participate in all of them. Not only that, but I threw another one in the mix, which Paul was nice enough to let me post on there to hopefully entice some builders to post over on the YouTube side of things, the dark side, if you will. There's been changes made to that because it's not a ISM build. It's not sanctioned. There won't be free goodies handed out. It's the go big or go home. You don't need anything else. Do you need the possibility of a prize or some weathering stuff to go big? Hell no. Hell no. Because you're going to go big or you're going to go home. That's it. And the whole going home thing, people will laugh, they will talk. It's shameful. It's a walk of shame. So, got this kit not long ago, the MiG-29. It's a lot smaller scale, obviously, than the ones Freddy Duarte has been tinkering with. But nonetheless, it's pleasingly one of the better Airfix kits that I've had. I've actually really developed a fondness for the 1/72nd scale Airfix kits. I really have. Great detail, and if you're unfortunate enough to get what may be considered an older Airfix kit in 1/72nd scale, the repairs won't be to a scale that will make you swear off of modeling for 5 years. And I bring that up because, you know, the whole 1/24th scale returned. Yeah. I'm thirsty for more because I ordered another 1/24th kit. And I guarantee you it's an older Airfix kit by the price. But it's of the 109 variety, which will have a block style engine, not a radial style engine, because that radial engine on that Focke-Wulf was, I want to open that and display it and try and detail it out. And just the thought of removing all of that flash around all of those heads and trying to preserve the fin detail? Yeah, right. Sure. So hopefully the 109 that's on the way, which may be my build for Go Big or Go Home, because I don't know if the other kit that I ordered, it's coming from, I think, Japan. Good price. I just don't know if it will make it in time, because they did let me know that it may take a while. So, back to the MiG-29. It's required a little bit of filler, mostly right here at the nose joint. And it is kind of nice to have the seam on the side of the aircraft occasionally. Actually, I think I prefer it there. It seems to be a little bit easier to hide there, because building aircraft, I think most people automatically go to seam right there. That's where they look. Where's the seam? Can I see the seam? At least I do. I don't know why I do that. Don't know. It could, because I almost always leave a seam, I think. So I'm trying to perfect the body work. If you want to be good at an airbrush, here's what you have to do. Practice with your airbrush 15 minutes a week. Practice your body work 10 hours a day. Your airbrush work will be biatchin'. It will be out of this world good. That's all you need to know. Now you know what there is to know about airbrushing. A little bit of flash here. I do like the Russian aircraft. They always have these cute little fenders. They really are. They make me think of like a child's tricycle. And I'm not joking here. This is what this little fender, I'm sure that it serves a purpose. I guarantee you. Maybe it's necessary when you're taking off in multi-million-dollar aircraft from a dirt field. If you just, don't want to spend the rubles on a runway, you stop putting fenders on Kit's bike and you put them on your aircraft. So it does have the fender there. But seriously, if anybody knows why that's necessary, put it in the comments. And I'm not joking. I mean, it is odd, is it not, to see a fender on an aircraft. And the majority of Russian aircraft of the fighter type have fenders. I guess I just don't get it. I ain't ashamed to say it. I don't get it. If you do, and you want to share your wealth of information, I would like to know. I would like to be able to boast that I understand why on earth they have those parts. Here's your decals. Thankfully, there are hundreds of them, and they are extremely tiny. So that's going to be fun. But as your main layouts, you have this dirty bird here, the raven, and you have what appears to be, we're going to call it a dragon or a serpent or something here. Looks like it's supposed to have a wing there. And I can't see what the, this looks to be a, believe it or not, I'm starting to see it. The eyeballs are almost working, guys. Appears to be a falcon head, or the bust of a falcon. There's a blue falcon looking bird. How I know something that size is a falcon? It could be a frickin' sparrow for all I know. Goddamn pigeon. Excuse me for the cussing there, guys. I'll try to remember putting a disclaimer on there that there is flash profanity in the video due to, I don't know, I'm going to claim to have Tourette's. Everybody else has something, so I got my problems too, damn it. More detail, I'm kind of liking it. It is absolutely a cool looking aircraft. Russians, well, some of the funkier MiGs, I don't know. The flogger type, I don't know how much I have an appreciation for those, but most in the MiG family, I think, are downright cool looking aircraft. And what was this trying to figure out? Good grief, by the size of them. These are actually the, wow. What would you call it? The tail, the rudder, I'm guessing. That's a decent size. And you don't get one, you get two. That's, wow, it didn't look that out of scale on the artwork. Of course, the tail in the artwork is lower. It just appears odd to actually see it in person, because I'm sure it's in scale. After all, it's a scale model, right? Thought the same thing about that silly Osprey that I built. The damn props for that they look like the props from the electric stations out there in Palm Springs, if you've ever seen a postcard or in a movie. The big windmills out there. I don't know where all that started at, but we got thousands of them out in Palm Springs. Of course, it's like a wind tunnel out there, so it makes sense. Are we saving any money from it? Absolutely not. No. No money savings at all. None. Okay. That's it for the waffle, guys. I apologize for not providing any syrup. I guess I'll have to put a disclaimer on here, not only about the flash cursing, but the fact that the syrup bottle has run dry. More to follow, guys. Thank you for watching. If you're still watching, if you're not going to be here to say thanks, so off with you. Take it easy, guys. I hope your weekend was a good one. I hope your building went well. And Christmas is almost here. You're almost through it. Don't let it get you down if it's a tough time, because it can be. And yeah, if it is, reach out to somebody. That's what folks are for. All right, guys. Take care of yourselves. Be happy. Be healthy. And talk soon. See ya.